Hello, I'm Princess Sally Acorn. We will learn about basics of rights. Here, rights are legal, social, or ethical principles of freedom or entitlement. That is, rights are the fundamental normative rules about what is allowed of people or owed to people according to some legal system, social convention, or ethical theory. Many diverse things are claimed as rights, which says the word. A right to life, a right to choose, a right to vote, to work, to strike, a right to one phone call, to dissolve parliament, to operate a forklift, to asylum, to equal treatment before the law, to feel proud of what one has done, a right to exist, to sentence an offender to death, to launch a nuclear first strike, to carry a concealed weapon, to a distinct genetic identity, a right to believe one's own eyes, to pronounce the couple husband and wife, to be left alone, to go to hell in one's own way. There are likewise diverse possible ways to categorize rights, as it says. Who is alleged to have the right, children's rights, animal rights, workers' rights, states' rights, the rights of peoples. What actions are states or objects the asserted right pertains to, rights of free expression, to pass judgment, rights of privacy, to remain silent, property rights, bodily rights. Why the right holder, allegedly, has the right. Moral rights spring from moral reasons, legal rights derive from the laws of the society, customary rights are aspects of local customs. How the asserted right can be affected by the right holder's actions, the inalienable right to life, the forfeitable right to liberty, and the waivable right that a promise be kept. Now, let's discuss the many types of rights. Natural rights. Claim and liberty rights. Positive and negative rights. Individual and group rights, civil and political rights, and economic, social and cultural rights. Firstly, natural rights are rights which are natural, in the sense of not artificial, not man-made, as in rights deriving from human nature or from the edicts of a god. They could have been argued that humans have a natural right to life. These are sometimes called moral rights or inalienable rights. Next, claim and liberty rights. A claim right is a right which entails that another person has a duty to the right holder. Somebody else must do or refrain from doing something to or for the claim holder, such as perform a service or supply a product for him or her, that is, he or she has a claim to that service or product. On the other hand, a liberty right or privilege, in contrast, is simply a freedom or permission for the right holder to do something, and there are no obligations on other parties to do or not do anything. Next, we'll talk about positive and negative rights. Positive rights are permissions to do things, or entitlements to be done unto. One example of a positive right is the purported right to welfare. On the other hand, negative rights are permissions not to do things, or entitlements to be left alone. Often the distinction is invoked by libertarians who think of a negative right as an entitlement to non-interference, such as a right against being assaulted. Next, we'll talk about individual and group rights. Individual rights are rights held by individual people regardless of their group membership or lack thereof. And group rights, on the other hand, argued to exist when a group is seen as more than a mere composite or assembly of separate individuals but an entity in its own right. For example, these soldiers bond in combat, the group becomes like an organism in itself and has rights which trump the rights of any individual soldier. Next, we'll talk about civil and political rights. Civil and political rights are a class of rights that protect individuals' freedom from infringement by governments, social organizations, and private individuals. Civil rights such as race, gender, sexual orientation, national origin, color, age, political affiliation, ethnicity, religion, and disability. And political rights, on the other hand, such as privacy and the freedom of thought, speech, religion, press, assembly, and movement. And finally, economic, social, and cultural rights. Economic, social and cultural rights are socio-economic human rights, such as the right to education, right to housing, right to an adequate standard of living, right to health, victims' rights and the right to science and culture. For example, the Universal Declaration on Human Rights recognizes a number of economic, social and cultural rights, and the International Covenant on Economic, Social and Cultural Rights, ICESCR, is the primary international legal source of economic, social and cultural rights. So you now know how the rights work. Like, comment, and subscribe now on YouTube.